am going to be doing each of these topics on a video like this because this is what's currently available to me, my mobile phone. So most of you will have your smartphones available to you and you can use that for your video demos. So the first topic that we're going to be covering is an overview of your course, basically how to structure your course. So within the topic of how to structure your course, you need to first provide the overview. The overview is you providing an insight into where they're going to be going throughout the course, but not in too much detail. It's a very high-level view, and it's what the results that you're wanting your customers to have by the end of it. If your customers don't have the results by the end that you've promised and you've given the objectives of in the beginning, then the course is not successful for either you or your customers. So this is basically just a high-level overview. The next section under how to structure your course is why choose this course. Your customers need to know, or your learners need to know, why they've chosen this course, why they've chosen to take it with you. So there's a lot of other courses out there that will be similar to yours in content, but they need to know why you have authority to present this course to them. So here you need to give your credentials. It can either be an experience you've gone through, it can be degrees, it can be diplomas, it can be a heart issue, it can be your head knowledge about something, but you have to here reveal your authority on why they should listen to you. Often people look at tangible results. So if there's a measurable difference between where you were and now where you are, and how you can help them get from where they are currently to where they can be, that is what will give you the most authority. Prerequisites. Prerequisites are basically the list of things that your customers or learners are required to have before they come on your course. So for example, if you are going to do a university degree, a prerequisite for to doing a medication degree to become a doctor would obviously to have certain marks or scores in maths and science. You need to know what the prerequisites are for your course. Now obviously the less the prerequisites the better, because then anyone can come to the course. But there might be certain prerequisites that you require. For example, if it's a Christian course or if it's another religious course, they need to have certain prerequisites that's their spiritual understanding or their mindset. There might be other prerequisites if you are dealing with people who've had eating disorders, that either they know someone or they're dealing with themselves, because you're going to be dealing with certain sensitive information. But prerequisites doesn't have to be a bad or a good thing. It just basically makes sure that all of your customers are on the same page. They need to have a certain cognitive ability or mindset or heart frame, or be at a certain place in their life or have a certain experience. The next part is required resources. These are basically anything that's required for your course in the way of a technical platform, a physical resource, a username, a password, a pen, a paper, some experience that they've had. Any kind of required resource needs to generally be displayed in a bullet point format, because people like to say, okay, tick, I've done that, tick, I've done that, tick, I've got that, tick, I've got that. So it is important to do it in bullet points or in number points, and it's important when you're stating the required resources, if you are going to give them something like a password, state when you're going to give it to them and in what section. Times and dates. Your customers need to organize their lives, and they want to know ahead of time what to expect from the course. So if your course is self-paced, it makes sense to just give them a time frame within which they can complete the course. So for example, this course is within 7 days. They need to complete the course within 7 days. And my course essentially is not really that you have to do one topic before another. You can actually do the topics independent, but potentially your course might be that the one topic follows from another and they have to do each of the topics in a specific order. Your customers need to know ahead of time what they are to expect of the course in terms of time frames and where to be at what time. So for example, if you are doing a Facebook community, just give them a heads up ahead of time what time you're going to be there, so that if you're doing Facebook live videos, they will all be there and prepared and ready. If you are doing it on a platform like, for example, using a platform like Wix, which is just a normal website, and you're going to have your course within there, and there'll be the videos and there'll be the written content in there, and they're doing it at their own pace, that's not a problem. As long as you just locate them in the place that they have to be, and then for any live webinars or anything you're doing like that, locate them ahead of time and give them a couple of days warning. Requirements from your customers. It's very important that you set out in the beginning and manage your expectations and manage their expectations about what you require from them for this course to be successful. This is especially important when people come and say, I paid for your course and I don't feel like I got out of it what I should have done, and then they want their money back. You know what? If they don't put it in, then they're not going to get anything out, and you need to say what your requirements are for the course to be successful for them and for them to achieve the results. General conduct. This is quite important that you set this out in the very beginning of your course, especially for courses where there's quite controversial topics, or political topics, or religious topics, or very personal topics where people might take such offense and start attacking other people. So you need to establish right up front the kind of behavior that you're expecting and how you're expecting people, if it's a community, how you're expecting them to interact with each other. You also need to state at this stage the consequences of not abiding by this behavior or by the set of rules and the general conduct, because then they need to know that they may be excluded from your course without compensation. The introduction. So once you've done all of the structure, you're now going to have an introduction before you start your next topic. And in this introduction, you need to decide beforehand what platform you're going to be using to present your course on. Because you might be presenting it on a technical platform at this stage where the World Wide Web can give you access to everyone, but you may end up using that same material in person at events or conferences or one-on-one. So just remember how you structure the material before and how you introduce it. Conversely, you might be a teacher in a classroom, or you might be a person doing one-on-one or at a conference, and now you're going to move your material to an online platform. Just in your introduction, know that however you present it, you need to make sure that you can repurpose the content and you can move it across to online and offline one-to-one group. You need to be able to restructure your content. So you need to put this in the introduction. And in the introduction, you also need to add frequently used terms. So for example, if you're speaking in a certain marketplace, you need to use certain marketplace terms. If you're in real estate, you're going to be using gearing, you're going to be using negative equity, debt, good debt, bad debt. You need to establish at the beginning what these terms mean in terms of your course, because words can be ambiguous and then people might interpret them differently, and you need to say how you're going to be referring to that word in what context. So for example, throughout this course, I talk about customers, but they're actually learners. But I'm assuming that your learners are going to be paying. So I'm saying that the words learners and customers will be interchangeable. Just remember to confirm to them why it was a good idea that they've chosen to do the course with you. And with everything, people want to apply the concepts that they're learning and the new knowledge to their own life. So you should always have assessment questions or application questions. And this obviously is going to be determined by what kind of course you're providing. So if you are providing one where you're going to have to grade them, or they're going to have to answer multiple choice questions, or maybe picking a couple of questions or a survey, then you're going to use a certain platform. But if you're only asking them to apply questions to their lives and you're not going to have to find out the answers from them immediately, or you're not going to have to go through the answers, then you can use very different types of platforms that are much simpler than normal LMS platforms. And you can just ask them application questions at the end of each section. Always do application questions. It's so important because people need to know how to apply concepts to their life. Always do application questions because it helps you as the author go through the material and see what is it I'm actually wanting them to take out of this material. So application questions. So for mine, for example, would be, why did you write this course? Are you writing this course because you're wanting to share knowledge? Are you wanting financial gain? Are you doing it for career development? Like, what is the reason you're writing this course? What is the other application? What is the end result that you want your students or your learners or your customers to have for you to say that the course is a successful course?